Hello, hello, my lovely league audience. I almost started the video without any microphone. I would have been talking to nobody, which is what I'm doing anyway. Alright, so we're gonna be going Nunu in the jungle because that's what we do. Take consume. Alright, so a couple of reasons why I took Nunu in the jungle. We have a Zed, who's early game. We have an MF, and the Nami, which is early game as well. So, what we need is some late game action coming from other areas. If we're too early game orientated, and then we'll have a difficult time the later the game goes. But another remark is the fact that MF and the Nami should win their lane. Now, whether they do or not is up to them, and I'm just trying to play the odds that they will take advantage of their early advantage, of their lead. They'll take advantage. Zed should also win in the early game. So, and then on their team, they've got a Kha'zix. Kha'zix will look to we're just gonna keep him away from his farm. Keep him away. Alright. Alright, so right now I have 340 in addition to 390. So about 800 damage. Sorry, Kha'zix. But it ain't gonna happen. Alright, that was fun. See, this is one of the things about Nunu. There's just not a whole lot you can do when a Nunu is trying to steal from you. Top lane would have missed out on so much CS. And top lane, he knew what was going on. I'm loving this top lane right now. But our top lane knew exactly what was going on. So essentially, we are... I'm the late game crew, and the longer that I'm permitted to get into the late game, the better. Okay. Tower dove. Okay, that's fine. So it looks like the our bot lane did not do that well. That is unfortunate. That's definitely going to be an issue that we have to deal with later on. On the other hand, it looks like Zed has... Okay, he's got a death, actually. So Zed has a death. Okay, that's gone. I figured it might be gone. But even if it's gone, what that tells us is it made Kha'zix do a very, like, awkward clear. Alright, now we've got that, we're gonna head back, and we're gonna look to get the, take that. Speed on out of there. We're gonna look to get this first. Now, because Kha'zix had to take this route, he was up here, and then he either did this first or this first, but the idea is that he's gonna be topside because he's already cleared all of this on this side of the map. Alright, we're gonna pull this out. See, there's Kha'zix. Yeah, I predicted that Kha'zix would be over there. All right, we're looking at 450. Still looking at 450. All right, awesome. So Kha'zix is wasting time. I just got our first dragon. We're gonna see if we can still steal some of Kha'zix's stuff over here. Now we can see if we can steal this. Alright, this is a little tricky here. We might run into Kha'zix, we might not. Alright, nice. So we're stealing everything, but see, look, Kha'zix is he's still top. We've stolen everything away from the Kha'zix. Poor Kha'zix. He's gonna be so behind. Alright, so Kha'zix is 11 CS to my 26, so I've already gotten double. Double CS. And he's level 4 to my level 5.5. I'm gonna smite that. Gobble that up. And I think, I would assume that some of this is gonna be gone, but we'll see. Alright, now I got 6 and Kha'zix is still 4. So he's really got a... Okay, there's Kha'zix. Okay, so he was, So Kha'zix is behind right now. But Kha'zix is still powerful, however. We're gonna see if we can get, the blue. Yep. I can understand what Kha'zix wants to do. He wants his laners to be powerful, but he's going to be neglecting his own jungle significantly. And right now, what Kha'zix is doing, he's checking this area and he's like, oh man, Nunu has stolen everything. Alright, we're gonna use this to hop over. So Kha'zix himself can't use it. And now there's Kha'zix. Oh, I'm so evil. I'm so evil! So Kha'zix has really no choice but to try to influence mid. And my buddy here, gonna just ward that for good measure. Ah, nothing for you, buddy. We're just gonna let him waste his time. Oh, no, don't worry about that. The poor Kha'zix! He can't get any farm! I gotta speed him up. So in my opinion, the smite that, then we might we're gonna try to get something on bottom lane. We have our ultimate. All right, Nami. All right. So Nami did not juke successfully. But we can prevent them from getting the tower. We'll be fine. Save the tower for now. Now I could hop on over if they can get across. Alright. They're not gonna try it. However, I will be able to get Mr. Dragon. Since bot lane had already gone back, now I can steal Dragon pretty safely. I'm not exactly sure where Kha'zix is, so that is a bit of concern. We're looking at 570. And there we go. So the likelihood that we will lose bot tower is pretty high. But we can make that up. So far we've done well. Well, so far we have not done well actually, but oh, are they gonna get it? There we go. Nice work. Zed finally was useful there. Alright, I need to abandon my guys here. Alright, that's fine. He'll still probably get that. That's unfortunate. We're gonna get that. Then what are we gonna go after here for? Anivia does a lot of damage. Jinx does even more damage. So, Ninja Tabai? I think so. Well, I think what we'll get is Mercurial Treads into Frozen Heart. So if you noticed, Nami says GG, who cares? So really, the Nami really doesn't understand how late game works. However, I would like the Zed to sort of go that way. Right. To take a chunk out of our friend here. Alright, we got 3 minutes on dragon. We can't save that. So what you do in this case is just kind of like salvage what you can. And set up things as you can. Because he's going to keep pushing. It looks like Singed is going pretty deep. But he's allowing a lot of time for us to do whatever we need to do. Alright, so we do need to go top. Now that we've got several people coming. Alright, let's see if I live. Okay, I don't live, that's alright. Kha'zix gonna die, alright. That's not too bad. We're gonna get Frozen Heart. We're gonna get that, and then Frozen Heart components. That's pretty nice from Singed. Gonna head on down. We've got 1 minute on the dragon. We're not so hot on that dragon because it's the air dragon. I believe we already have an air dragon. But we should get in position. Alright. Alright, I need to, well, okay. They're fine. They do need to back off. They definitely need to back off. But we're gonna do what we need to do. Now we're gonna push this down here. Because it won't do much good, of anything, to try to Alright, now we're just gonna head out. Oh, nice. Nice! Why is that leaving? Alright, we're looking at 720. Nope. It's gonna do a little scan of the area. We've got 30 seconds on that guy. I don't think we're not gonna go for it. So what we should keep in mind right now is Baron. Alright, we're gonna head back. We should have enough, hopefully. Yeah, we have enough for that. We'll be able to tank Baron pretty well. We're gonna get that, we're gonna get another ward, then we're gonna head out. Now Baron is up currently. Okay, no reason for Nami. Wow, Nami. Nice work. All right, now we're gonna get to it. Woo hoo hoo. Alright, so we have to say sayonara here. See if I can live. Oh, I can't. Nice. Very nice. All right, not too bad. That was bad. Alright. So we're gonna look to get a little magic resistance? No, I think we need some redemption. We need redemption. Right. Go. All right, let's see if people are on the page. Alright, so we have control of the area. Alright, let's see what they can do. Nothing. Alright, that's alright. So they might... It might be doing too much damage to them. I think they'll get it, though. Yeah, they got it. Better organization by our team is needed. Zed is sadly falling off largely in this game's late game. Your guys' response time is pathetic. Just trying to focus on what needs to be corrected upon. Hey, there we go. It's alright. So they overextended. That's pretty good. They only got 2 inhibs. But that's not too bad for us. Alright. So what we have to acknowledge is the fact that Zed has a very low, or he has a low kill potential. Alright, be alright. Again, with the response time. Not about getting caught. It's about response time to events in game. Alright, so that's alright. So late game, we were not up to the challenge, and mostly because MF falls off in the... I'm gonna give it to Singe. Like, MF falls off in the early game. Or I'm sorry. MF falls off in the late game. So, to making that a possibility for us to win, she would have had to do well in the early game. And that's the same with Zed. Zed really has to dominate the lane early, especially versus Anivia, because Anivia builds health items. So if they don't win the early game, the game is pretty much unwinnable unless, you know, we just get, you know, lucky or something like that. But the odds are against us if we enter the late game. And so, yeah. So even though Nami is very... Nami... Zed was good. He did not know the match up, nor does he know about his own spike. But anyway, so the MF and the Nami could not turn out a winning lane. And so, in fact, they were actually losing lane. So that game was pretty done. Not about positioning. It's about knowing your champion's weaknesses and strengths. And Zed, anyone who picks Zed understands that he is early game. And if Zed does not do well early game, the game will not go well for the team who has the Zed. So anyway, yeah. So Zed is early game. What he lacks in the later game is because he acts like an assassin. And later on, if a team is competent, then they'll stick together. And there was so many ways that they could just make Zed not count for anything. Like, Zed's job after a while was to take out the Jinx. And also the Karma, but the Karma would have kept him alive. And they were really taking advantage of the fact that Karma's abilities with Ardent Sensor were just overpowered. The Nami didn't even get Ardent Sensor, so that's kind of like one easy clue that the Nami did not understand the matchup. MF has all the capabilities of soloing, so she set her hopes for the early game. Like, this is a great build for the early game, but Jinx is going to out damage us every time. And then the Nami didn't even take Ardent Sensor, so the Nami doesn't even know what season we're in currently. So it would have really been a miracle for us to pull off a win. But in this case, it's fine because we understand why we lost. We understand that the Zed lost because he couldn't influence his lane. I think as well as we did, it was because of the Singed, you know, and I thought we could survive that. I thought we could get enough momentum from the Singed, but bot lane had lost, you know, pretty badly against their bot lane. So that really ramped up Jinx's damage. And so not even Singed could deal with so much damage coming from the Jinx. The Zed also could not impact early game, nor it's understandable to note that Zed cannot impact the late game as much as the early game, where he should impact the game. In addition, the Karma is just going to put shields around everybody, which is going to make Zed's job difficult. So Zed kind of put himself in a hole. You know, if you don't get out early game, you're not going to be much good Zed. You know, you're not going to do, and he did get one kill versus Nivea, but that was later on, like late mid game. And he was being helped by the Nami. But anyway, so we lost that essentially because bot lane, they didn't take their advantage, the early game advantage. And it could be because of the Karma was just too much of a support for them to get a kill. And, you know, so that really had, see, if you pick early game, you put it on yourself, you put the timer against yourself. The farther along the game goes, the more that they're going to be behind. And I thought I was doing some effective stuff where Kha'zix had no choice but to try to make a gank happen. That is when he is able to make ganks happen early game. So early game, I wasn't able to take, well, early game, I was able to take out his strength in the late game because he does not have the kind of CS that I do. I have almost an additional 70 CS. And just imagine what you can do with an additional 70 CS. I don't know if that's half an item or an item more. He's got a few kills, but you really don't want to rely on just yourself to make kills, because it puts yourself in some awkward positions. But he does have a decent amount of kill potential, but he doesn't have, I don't think, like he can't one-shot you. He still needs to do some of his attacks to make things happen. So anyway, let's do a little itemization. I barely got redemption in the last 5 minutes of the game. I wasn't able to use it in any form or facet that was useful. I got Frozen Heart to deal with the Jinx. That was the good idea there. It's unfortunate that I got caught out there. I could have juked a little better, but the kind of range that Karma has and the Jinx, they would just, you know, continue to put me in a bad position, or continue to CC me, and I honestly shouldn't have been there. But I don't know. Sometimes I get it in my head that it's majority of my team's fault, but then I go and do something that is not smart. I'm trying to do something that's dangerous, and it might be because I have little faith in my team, and the game's going to, you know, collapse anyway. There's some of that going on, and I really should not make those types of decisions under duress like that, because the enemy has such a stronghold in damage. Because there was really no reason why I should have been there. Like, even if I got the scuttles, there's no reason to get the scuttles because Baron's not there. I did say something to my team about their reaction time. There were 2 times where first time I was surprised that they were in my jungle, but I had an escape route there. But I shouldn't have just wasted that. Unfortunately, I guess what I should have done is inform my guys that you all need to try to stick together. But then at the same time, I kind of didn't want to press the team fight because I felt like we would lose it. So it's almost like we would have to be in such a position where we can get a pick. That's how we could have come back into the game. And I would have liked my team to react in such a way that they'll be close to me, so we might be able to set something like that up. And given the state of the game, it might not have been possible. Even if I'm typing exactly what we need to do, I mean, the people were heading to Baron when I did ask, but there just was not enough time to try to do Baron. It would have been too risky. So yeah, in the end, I just kind of, in the back of my mind, gave up. Because bot lane, they should have dominated early, and they didn't. So my hands were tied behind my back. So instead of putting myself at risk, I need to drop a ward where I think it's safe, and then just wait out the storm just in case that we could get something done. But yeah, the team fights were just brutal. They were just so brutal because they did so much damage to us. All right, so again, I get Frozen Heart because of the Jinx and auto attacks. Cinder Hulk as usual with Nunu, and Mercury Treads to avoid some the elongation of certain CC. The Singed, you got your ZRZ Rot Portal, which is one of those annoyance items you get with Singe. I see Singe with it quite often, but I don't. But yeah, it looks like it speeds you up, but it only speeds you up near turrets. So that's still useful. It'll still be useful around turrets. He was pretty strong in the mid game, late to mid game when we started cleaning a few people up, but we could not clean house. We couldn't undo the damage that the Zed and the bot lane had done because they don't scale. They don't scale into the late game. They are just blocks of wood into the late game. And then he got Blasting Wand and then some Giant's Belt for survivability. Our Zed goes your plain Assassin Yomu's with Dusk Blade. Looks like he's going to get a Black Cleaver next after the Phage. But he's so behind on items, and he would have to like the only way that he could be viable is try to get his shurikens in there and do damage that way. He's 13 to Nivea's 15. Same sort of situation with the MF. She's fixed to do a lot of damage to one target, but not a whole lot of damage like Jinx does to multiple targets, and have it be critical attack based. And she's just relying on the fact that she gets movement speed and lethality. She can attack faster. But even, I mean, at this stage of the game, I don't think Jinx and MF could go toe-to-toe. Like, Jinx, I'm pretty sure with her auto attacks, just her by herself would take care of the MF. And she would not be able to withstand the damage coming from the Jinx. And then lastly, you've got the Nami, who thinks that doesn't realize that this is Season 7, and Ardent Sensor is quite powerful. On the other team, you've got Jinx with the full, pretty beefy ability, or Infinity Edge, into Static Shiv, into Runa's Hurricane. So she's chunking. And then we've got the top laner who's gone pretty much all tanky. He's got survivability with Death Dance, and he does damage over time with Black Cleaver. And so he's got that bruiser, that classic Juggernaut sort of bruiser setup. And then you have the Kha'zix, who's got some damage ability but lack of kill ability. And the late game, I would have made him obsolete in the late game. He actually has Boots of Lucidity because I don't know why. This is kind of a goofy thing. I guess he wants his abilities back up a little faster. I don't know how that's really going to help Kha'zix, so I'd say I would avoid something like that. Maybe go Ninja Tabai to last a little longer, or Mercurial Treads to deal with CC coming from the Singed or something like that. Some kind of survivability, but and then finally you've got the well, not finally, but you have the Karma, who's actually got an Iceborne Gauntlet. And so she's going to do a fair amount of damage with her auto attack, and she's going to have some armor to boot, in addition to the fact that she's going to have a huge power huge power with her heals. Now, I don't think that Iceborne's Gauntlet is good for her kit. You really want, you know, cooldown reduction on Karma. You're going to get a little Karma or cooldown reduction right there. You're going to get some cooldown reduction Forbidden Idol. Okay, so... Well, actually, she's over her limit on cooldown reduction now that I look at it. She's got 10 here. She's got another 10 here. That's 20. She's got another 20 right there. So that's all her cooldown reduction that she needs. She's going overboard on the cooldown reduction. So she could have gone some kind of armor item or something like I did. Frost. It'll still give you cooldown reduction, but it'll reduce attack speed of nearby people. So that would be helpful versus the Zed. But mainstay of the damage would be coming from, I think, the Singed. So I think she should have gotten some magic reduction, maybe a Gaius of the Legion or something like that. But it's a little goofy to go this. She's gonna do a little more damage, and you can be a little more reckless when you're ahead with support items and doing damage. But I would not. You know, it's better just to take your lead and then not get, you know, not have your ego boost you in such a way that you're endangering your team with your build. The Anivia got Azania's Hourglass, which is fine versus the Zed. She also got Rod of Ages. This is a great build, and that's one of the reasons why Zed falls off in that lane. If Zed does not kill Anivia, and what makes Zed's job so hard versus Anivia because of the egg form, he has to basically chop down through double HP, the egg HP and Anivia's HP, and if he doesn't, then it's no kill. So all you have to do is stack things like Rod of Ages. You can do Haunting Guys into the next stage of that, which is going to give you health, so much survivability. She has so much survivability, and it helps so much because when you go to your egg form, that health is going to be there in the egg as well. And also she got Zanya's Hourglass for cooldown reduction, some armor versus the Zed, which is exactly what you should do. This is the only time when you want to do Zanya's Hourglass early, is when you're up against a Zed. And I like the fact that she went health first, and then she went Zanya's Hourglass with the armor, because health is going to protect you from magic, and it's going to protect you from AD. And Anivia's kit benefits greatly from health. So I like the fact that she built these two items first, and then hopefully she built that later. Alright guys, that was a rough game, but pretty much we lost because of some of the idiocy coming from me, because I had the mentality of, oh, we're not going to make it. But I should not do things like that and keep trying to make the proper plays. My normal thing of getting in there and doing my ultimate was not bearing fruit. So I had to try to slow the enemy down, take a few shots, and then try to get our ADCs ahead. That's when you're in that type of situation, and as Nunu, you can't take a whole lot of damage because the enemy is doing tons of damage. You just need to try to protect your ADs or protect your carries, and then try to get them ahead. But I cannot do the same thing as I would if we're ahead, where I get ahead of the entire crew and I start doing my Nunu Blizzard, my ultimate, and we trap them all that way. I cannot do it that way. You have to be a little more methodical about slowing down people, catching people out, warding. You really have to try to wait for someone in the enemy party to make a mistake and then capitalize it. That's what I need to get into my brain. When the enemy's ahead, I need to wait for an opportunity by warding and not put myself in such great risk. and wait for them to make a mistake. That's how you come back into the game, is by waiting for the enemy to make a mistake. And it's not high elo, so that's going to happen frequently. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope that I learned a little bit more. When the enemy's ahead, you know, ward and wait for a mistake. That's the safest way to capitalize on coming back into the game. So this is Arch, and I am going to sign out, and I hope you guys have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good midday. All right, guys. Hi-yo.